Hello everybody, this is Greg with the Carolina Sea Hornets, and thank you for coming today to watch this video of my unboxing of the Lefeet P1 XR. It has been probably a good 90 days of waiting since I've ordered this thing to receive it. So you might be asking yourself, well, Greg, you just got a Scubajet, so why did you get a Lefeet? Well, in case you didn't know, Scubajet has officially gone out of business, and so this lovely device right here has already broken on me after 12 dives. And luckily I was able to get a hold of some spare parts and get it to where it was working again. And actually I was able to get a custom screen protector here, this little piece right here along the rim here, from a guy out of Australia. And we're only about 6 dives in on this replacement piece here to see if it'll actually work over time. But in the meantime, I've been waiting on this lovely unit to come in. And during that time, I actually contacted the guy that does the sales for Lefeet and found out that some behind the scenes information a little bit, as you would say. And supposedly this unit is going to have a much better success rate compared to any of the other mini scooters on the market. Supposedly, I think it was like 80% better than everything else as far as the failure rate goes. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started, and I'll start unboxing. All right. P1 XR, power and performance. Now, the same fellow that I spoke to was telling me that essentially the speed, performance-wise, I believe he said it was going to be pretty much the same thing as a Scubajet, if not a little better. Same thing with the battery life, but it was only like maybe a 5% difference. So I don't know if you would even notice it or not. All right, so we have several little boxes here. We've got our battery, our scooter, probably our charger. So let's go ahead and start taking stuff out here. This is a nice modular unit. P1 water scooter. Threaded in here with some connectors on it. And I believe this would be the battery. This is pretty sweet looking. Feels like it's got a better build quality than the Scubajet did. Alright, let's see, what is this here? Sport camera mount, anti-loss strap, remote controller charging cable, 100 watt USB-C charge cable. Is that right there? Let's see what all that is packed in this little box here. Okay. Oh yeah, it comes with a nice GoPro mount. Pretty sure my Scubajet did not come with that. USB standard cable there. Some lube, I imagine that's what that is. And a remote charging cable. That's what this is. Alright. Oh, sweet. This is the strap that came with the other Lefeet unit. So a friend of mine, he bought the earlier version of the Lefeet, and he's had a great time with it. He's had virtually no issues whatsoever with it. It's outran my Scubajet every single time we take it out. And when we go out, we go for 3 dives at a time. We dive around 100, 110 feet every time. And it lasts all 3 of those dives. This is pretty cool looking. All right. Now we have our charging converter. Okay. That's an interesting looking unit there. Some kind of a charging pad. I'll have to figure that out later. handle bracket. Oh, this is pretty cool looking. Okay. The 100-watt USB charger. Alright, that is a heck of a power brick. Also comes with a user manual right there. And there is something else in this box. Ah, adapters. So if you're not in America, you get all the international plugs here for European and let's see. I'm honestly not sure what every type of these plugs are. I just know they're internationally used in other countries. All right. And the remote controller right there. Okay. Unscrew this lovely guy here. And not quite sure exactly how this goes. Let's just set this here for now. And then we've got, oh, in the top of the box, you've got another user manual right there. Set that here for now. And what also fell out of that, not quite sure what these are. Stickers of some kind, I imagine. All right, let's see, handle. Okay, so we've got our handle piece here. So from what I was told, these are supposed to be pretty modular to where you can screw these together. That way, if you ever want to go traveling, you should be able to travel with them. Let's go ahead and move this over here a bit. So if you'll notice, you've got a tab here, and this kind of lines up. And then from there, I imagine, yes, you can just screw this in. Just like so. There you go. And now to figure out how these go together. I would imagine they go on this. And so they've got these notches in here, which should make it easier to figure this out without even reading the instructions. There we go. I imagine we're probably going to want to put some blue Loctite on these threads. Last thing you want is for these to come flying off. Okay. This, I'm not entirely sure. Ah, okay. So there is a groove right here, and you can slide the silver screw inside this groove and then thread it down right here. All right.
A few moments later.
So on the power brick, it comes with 4 plugs here. in those 4 plugs, it says USB-C 1, USB-C 2, max 100 watt. Below that, you have USB-C 3 and USB-A, max 22.5 watts. I imagine they're using this power brick to not only charge your scooter, but other devices as well.
2 hours later.
Okay, so now that we've got the handles on here, let me just kind of go over everything with you. So you've got your screen here, and in order to turn on the unit, this right here is actually a giant on and off switch. I like this a lot more than that Scubajet. With the Scubajet, you had to turn on, both handles had a button that you had to hold at the same time. And while you're trying to descent and do that at the same time, it could be kind of a headache. So I was actually turning mine on while I was on the boat and then enjoying it when I was in the water. This, I feel like I can turn it off and on underwater whenever, just simply turn the knob. It doesn't get much easier than that. So turn it on, you get a nice little tone, which should be easy to hear under the water. And you've got a very, very easy to understand screen here with your battery indicator. Now, this is something that I think is a big step forward from the older model. The screen didn't tell you your battery and your speed in a way that was like easier to understand as this. It was more of, in my mind, like more of a dummy indicator. It's like you're going slow, medium, fast. If I remember correctly, it didn't even really tell you your battery life. So this one, you can actually hold this down right here, and then that will turn on, and then you will be able to start using it. In order to go to a faster speed, you simply just press this down again, and so you go from a 2 to a 3, then a 4, and then if you have the XR model like I have here, they have this S mode, which is supposed to be, I guess, your super fast mode. So that's pretty much it as far as this goes. One issue I am finding with this is you only have one trigger. You don't get 2 triggers like you do on the Scubajet. I have times where sometimes I'll grab with my left hand, sometimes I'll grab with my right hand and want to go with either hand. I'm more of an ambidextrous person when it comes to a lot of things in my life. And so I see that as kind of like a downside to this. It's just a very minute downside. Now, as far as size comparisons and weight comparisons, I feel like the weight is probably about 95% the same. But as far as like size comparison goes, you're looking at it's got a bit of a shorter length to it. It's got a bit of a narrower profile to it. I will admit, when I take this thing down and I'm grabbing lobsters, I have had times where this Scubajet will get hung on a rock. It'll get hung on something. And so a majority of the time when I'm diving, I'm actually diving untethered. And this is the tether that I use. So usually this is not even hooked up to me. I'll leave it on the side or whatnot or whatever. That's also why I've got it decorated so colorful as I do, because I've had this thing get lost in the vegetation that is at the very bottom of the ocean. So I plan on doing the same thing to this, because I can tell that this dark gray color is going to disappear the second I set it down and get away from it. But with that being said, I like the smaller profile. I feel like it's going to do better for me all around. This thing is definitely a better scooter from what I can see right off the bat. Now, the way that you would go about charging it, let's go ahead and turn this thing off here. All right, so that is now off, and then we're going to turn this off. So what you'll do is you'll unscrew this. Now, one thing I like about this design compared to the Scubajet is this looks more idiot-proof. The Scubajet, it looks like you could easily cross-thread it. When it comes to the battery, I believe the PCB that actually connects to the battery on the inside is not mounted as good as it should be. When you go to push the battery in on the Scubajet, it's it's very squishy. And anytime I've ever seen that in an electronic devices, the device usually fails pretty quickly. This one, everything just appears to be extremely solid. So this is the charging pad, and take this side and plug directly into this, just like so, and it fits rather smoothly in there. So to me, this is a much better charging method. Everything about this in general just seems better than the Scubajet. So I'm pretty happy about that. And you can connect a USB-C device to power it, a USB-C powered brick to be able to charge it. One thing I love about using USB-C, you're not necessarily held hostage by this brick. So if you go traveling with this device and you happen to lose this somehow, I would imagine that pretty much any kind of USB-C charging brick would work perfectly fine to be able to charge your scooter. All right, so now to talk about the camera mount here. And it's on a type of like a Piccadilly type system, I guess you would call it, like you would have on an AR. They actually have a flapper here that widens and loosens the connector here. I feel like this could be a failure point, and they probably should have switched to not having this flapper and used a bolt that would just screw down on it. However, I do think you could simply just, tighten it up like this, get your rubber band, and just have the rubber band squeeze around this right here, and it'll hold this in place. That way your camera gear doesn't come flying off your scooter. So anyways, this goes mounting on here just like this. You don't even really have to go from the front or the back. You can pretty much go anywhere you want, and then just tighten it down on there. And there you go. You have your mounting system right there. And there you go. Now for being able to charge your controller piece here, they have this nifty little adapter here. And essentially, let me turn this back off. This will connect right here, and it is magnetically attached, just like that. And then it's also USB-C, so it can go into the same power adapter as this. All right. Well, with that being said, there's my unboxing and my review of the Lefeet P1 XR and my comparison at the same time as my old Scubajet. Thank you. Please don't forget to subscribe and share. Every time you guys interact with these videos, it gives me more motivation to want to do more of these. Thank you.